into a home and allegedly impersonated himself as an ICE agent. Police say William Gregory made his way inside a home on Climax Street through a kitchen window. Once inside, they say Gregory allegedly told a juvenile there that he was with Immigration and Customs Enforcement and demanded to see their paperwork. Moments later, police say Gregory began stealing a video game system inside while threatening to stab the juvenile. Police say that's when the juvenile punched Gregory, knocking him out until police arrived. Officers say Gregory was under the influence and was tased and then sedated before he was taken to a local hospital. Police say he had multiple warrants out for his arrest for burglary and possession.
Hello. Just wanted to start that video off first, kicking off the show. I spent the better part of the day trying to get everything together. I was supposed to release this video last night, so here we are tonight. I would like to begin with these videos. It's fair use and commentary for entertainment, criticism, and educational purposes only under Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976. Please like and subscribe if you care, and I will continue with the video. As I was saying, this is why Greg Newsom signed in the ICE 627 anti-masking law that went into effect January of this year. And that is why all states should be following suit. ICE does not care about your plight and your story. If you do not have something that is a barrier against them and between you and them and between criminals that impersonate as them, this will continue to be a problem. My only problem is it's going to get worse, because here we go with another video where it just never stops.
Not a real cop.
Joshua Warner caught on Robert Harvey's live stream, allegedly posing as an ICE agent on November 9th. Harvey grew suspicious, passing this scene on 24th Street in Gavelston.
Somebody's searching that truck. That white truck. Look. Yeah. Who the hell is that? You're shining a flashlight in his face.
What about this stop made you realize that this was a red flag? This doesn't seem legit.
Yeah, first it was the no police car. Then when we got out, like I just mentioned, he was quickly trying to get rid of him and get away. He started to walk away and we were like, hey, stop. And then it was his uniform. I mean, I've never seen police in a uniform like that. And his tool belt and all of his stuff, I mean, it looked like it had just came in from Temu or Amazon or something.
What the hell did we just see? That ain't even a cop.
As Harvey and his friend Bruce Redmond approached Warner.
And that's a problem, because even though he thinks that is funny, what I'm going to show you demonstrate that Temu and other sites like TikTok Shop, even one of my favorites, Shein, do in fact own attire such as what they caught this man wearing, which I'm going to show you after I let this video finish playing.
He appears to tell the two men he stopped they can go.
Who are you?
Can I help you with something?
I immediately asked him, hey, who are you? What are you doing? What's your name and badge number? And then the fact that he wouldn't give me a name and badge number was another red flag.
You see it?
He ended up getting his fake badge out of the car, and then he actually hit my friend Bruce in the face with it.
Harvey and his friend notified police.
Well, he didn't have a mask on. See, all they think they have to do is put on a uniform and have an attitude, and it makes them enforcers of the law. And that's a problem, because now it becomes a thing where when law enforcement actually does stop somebody, nobody will know whether to run or take them seriously, because you have these people out here literally posing as law enforcement, and it's making the neighborhoods and the streets even unsafe, because he's breaking into somebody's car where this could cause serious issues to happen, like violence, where a weapon can be used if a person so seeks. He's in a right to carry state, Texas of all places, breaking into somebody's truck. What do you think is going to happen?
Nearby, On December 22nd, Galveston police confirm he posed as an ICE agent and arrested Warner at his home, finding a fake law enforcement badge and ID card and seizing his car that resembled an
His name is Joshua Warner, to be exact.
unmarked.
I don't have to get into that. So, what might prompt someone to take such actions is a lot of these people, they have a lot of movies and TV shows, and they want to be the thing that they always wanted to be growing up, whether that's a soldier in a war or a officer or even a superhero. And believe it or not, some of these people actually take that very seriously and to heart. And they will go out here and they will mock after a law enforcement officer, pretending impersonate somebody and be something that they are not, because it's a fantasy, but at the same time in that fantasy comes control and manipulation. And so as I go on, this is something else that I want to show you, because you can't take them seriously. They having so many issues in these states and cities and neighborhoods with ICE, that is an entity that is not sworn by law. They don't have a badge number or their name on them to identify them. If they were to stop you, they aren't going to give their information to you. They let you know that when you encounter them. The only thing they're going to give you is a physical altercation, which is something a true officer of the law would never do. They're not going to initiate physical contact. And the first thing most of them do is offer you their badge number, their name, and sometimes the supervisor, if that's what you need. These ICE agents parading around, most of them Proud Boys and haters of women, children, and anybody that is not the color that they are, or if they are the same color as they are, then anybody that will choose to stand up to them, they will physically aggress against you, and they will use physical force. And another video that I have to show you why that is.
As the last 2 weeks, we as law enforcement community have been receiving endless complaints about civil rights violations in our streets from U.S. citizens. What we're hearing is they're being stopped in traffic stops or on the street with no cause and being forced to demand paperwork to determine if they are here legally. As this went on over the past 2 weeks, we started hearing from our police officers the same complaints as they fell victim to this while off duty. Every one of these individuals is a person of color who has had this happen to them. In Brooklyn Park, one particular officer that shared her story with me was stopped as she passed ICE going down the roadway. When they boxed her in, they demanded her paperwork, of which she's a U.S. citizen and clearly would not have any paperwork. When she became concerned about the rhetoric and the way she was being treated, she pulled out her phone. In an attempt to record the incident, the phone was knocked out of her hands, preventing her from recording it. The officer had their guns drawn during this interaction.
I'm trying to see, why don't they ever draw the taser gun or try to neutralize the situation first? The first thing, I guess the only weapon they have on them is a weapon of destruction to use, because they don't know anything about using a taser gun first. Most cops, that is the first thing they use before it comes to them having to use like life-threatening force within a weapon. But they love to pull out their guns, and one day, I'm telling you, one day somebody's going to pull one back, and it's gonna be a whole melee. And I think that's what they want. But even if that happened, that is their fault. The president never tried to regulate. He never tried to give them course training to where they can understand how law enforcement works, how you don't initiate physical force before trying to neutralize or calm a situation down, because they are too busy being chaos agents of chaos, because that's all they know. He chose people that only have hate in their heart. They don't think about anything else other than brute force and control and threatening life.
And after the officer became so concerned, they were forced to identify themselves as a Brooklyn Park police officer in hopes of slowing the incident and de-escalating the incident down. The agents then immediately left after hearing this, making no other comments, no other apologies, just got in their vehicles and left.
Apologize. Fair use on this video, fair use. And that's a problem. They don't have any empathy or sympathy. Like I said in the very beginning, they are literally taking kids off the street. They care about grown-ups. They have taken a 5-year-old along with his dad. They use that 5-year-old to lure his family members. They have done so many things. They have also eaten in a restaurant just to turn around and go back to the restaurant and arrest the owner of the restaurant, a Mexican restaurant, and detain them to where their son is being left to the restaurant was closed for customers, and now he had to open up the restaurant, I think this weekend or either coming up soon. And because they are interfering with business, then it doesn't keep, when you do things like that with a business, it doesn't help the community thrive if you're causing a community to lose money. When people open businesses, they're putting money into the community where they're making money, but money is still going out. And it's something that is helping the neighborhood and that area thrive. A look, and it's a stature for that restaurant where people, when they see something, they want to go eat somewhere for the first time, and it's an experience. So I'm gonna go on to say, like I was saying about the impersonating agents and law enforcement. This is what I found on TikTok Shop. Now, I think it was under $20, where it's basically like what you see some of the ICE agents wear, where he was saying where around the waistband it looked like some funny, and this where they could put knives, and under the arm part you can put a weapon under there. Anywhere they could put like they could put a taser. They can use they can put certain things down there, and this is what I found on there. You can remove the hoodie and you have a full uniform. So I think that this is something very good that we need to learn about. And I'm showing you a prime example of how easy it is for somebody to betray something that I'm not saying is good, that they can get a uniform and be an ICE agent. That's very bad. So let me clarify that. I'm saying it's good to have the information so that people will know what to look out for. But at the same time, like I say, it's hard to tell. You really cannot tell anymore because they like to pretend to be something that they're not. Like, we've seen 2 videos of 2 impersonators, one breaking into a home who was not legitimate law enforcement. And another thing is, I found this also on TikTok Shop. And it's a FBI badge. Now, If you're none the lesser and you don't understand how FBI badge works, then you don't know there are certain decals and certain identifiable numbers, letters on the ID that anybody, if you're flashed this, you would think this is legit. That's FBI, and you're not gonna tussle with that not being or being. Only thing I'm worried about is one day, and let's not act like we don't know the inevitable is gonna happen, because it already is. Is it if it hasn't? That I'm worried about that there are child predators out here on the street that all they have to do is go on TikTok shop and get the uniform, like I showed you before, the jacket with the little gear, and the vest comes with it too, and this ID, and they can make it seem like their mom or their dad, something happened to them and they have to come with them, and they flash them this badge, and the child doesn't know any better. So we have to teach our kids to now have to identify a good officer from a bad officer, a bad agent from a good agent. And it's a shame that this is the world that we live in. Are you kidding me? Well, we have to identify good from bad and bad from good. Not saying that we've experienced bad people in the police department, but at least we were able to know them by their name and their badge and the county that they've represented. This is a different type of identifying a criminal who is pretending to be an entity of law enforcement that they are not. A child doesn't know the difference. And now that we're hearing that they've started going on school campuses unchecked, then what's the use in even schools having the gates and the metal detectors up? What's the use in having any of that security, even the police security? Like, they're gonna overrun that and just go in and take kids. And like I say, you saw a man trying to flash his badge to these guys to represent that he was something that he was not. And somebody going up in the school can do the same thing. And now you have a child that's come up missing that's never seen again. And it can happen to a woman and it can happen to a man. But mostly to a child is what a predator likes to take advantage of first, because they know they are vulnerable and these children don't know any better. We teach them to trust cops, teachers, and now we're being forced to have to teach our kids that, look, and if you haven't, you have to teach them there are good cops and there are bad cops. There are bad agents and there are bad agents, unfortunately, with this group. So I just feel like something is going to happen, and not that I wanted to, not that I even want to manifest it, and I'm not a seer or an overthinker of it. It's just, we know how this game goes and we can't play dumb about it. We know that this is a lawless country now that we live in, where we have a president that's given immunity to people for that, who promotes physical violence and who will lie about something that happened on video like it never happened. So with that being said, that's what I wanted to discuss and show you with this fake badge and what the fake attire looks like. Show you this jacket again. This is exactly what it looks like. The whole gear get up. Find both of them on TikTok shop. Now we know TikTok is owned by the US. They definitely be able to get it here now. It won't take so long through Shein. Now they can get it right through the TikTok shop in the US. It's got US on it now too. So there you go with that. So next on my menu is Kanye West, and he wrote a very long dissertation giving an apology. Man, oh man. And let me get set up because why do it have to be so long? Me, I understand that you wanted to write something. It would have, to me, it means more if something's coming directly from you rather than you writing it. And we know you had help with this. So, me, I'm the kind of person where I can't tell if it genuinely came from you or if you had help. Well, in putting it together, because we all know about ChatGPT, and this looks very put together. And I guess I'll find out how put together it is as I read. So let's go to this letter, and it starts with, "To those I've hurt." 25 years ago, I was in a car accident that broke my jaw and caused injury to the right frontal lobe of my brain. At the time, the focus was on the visible damage, the fracture, the swelling, and the immediate physical trauma. The deeper injury, the one side inside my skull, went unnoticed. Comprehensive scans were not done, neurological exams were limited, and the possibility of frontal lobe injury was never raised. It wasn't properly diagnosed until 2023. The medical oversight caused serious damage to my mental health and led to my bipolar type 1 diagnosis. Bipolar disorder comes with its own defense system, denial. When you're manic, you don't think you're sick. You think everyone else is overreacting. You feel like you're seeing the world more clearly than ever, when in reality, you're losing your grip entirely. Once people label you as crazy, you feel as if you cannot contribute anything meaningful to the world. It's easy for people to joke and laugh it off when in fact it is a serious debilitating disease. From. According to the World Health Organization and Cambridge University, people with bipolar disorder have a life expectancy that is shortened by 10 to 15 years on average, and a 2 to 3 times higher all-cause mortality rate than the general population. This is on par with severe heart disease, type 1 diabetes, HIV, and cancer, all lethal and fatal if left untreated. The scariest thing about this disorder is how persuasive it is when it tells you you don't need help. It makes you blind, but convinced you have insight. You feel powerful, certain, unstoppable. I lost touch with reality. Things got worse the longer I ignored the problem. I said and did things I deeply regret. Some of the people I love the most, I treated the worst. You endured fear, confusion, humiliation, and exhaustion of trying to have someone who was at times unrecognizable. Looking back, I became detached from my true self. In that fractured state, I gravitated toward the most destructive symbol I could find, the swastika, and even sold t-shirts bearing it. One of the difficult aspects of having bipolar type 1 are the disconnected moments, many of which I still cannot recall, that led to poor judgment and reckless behavior that oftentimes feel like an out-of-body experience. I regret and am deeply mortified by my actions in that state, and am committed to accountability, treatment, and meaningful change. It does not excuse what I did, though. I am not a Nazi or an anti-Semite. I love Jewish people. To the Black community, which held me down, through all the highs and the darkest of lows, of the darkest of times. The Black community is unquestionably the foundation of who I am. I am so sorry to have let you down. I love us. In early 2025, I fell into a 4-month low manic episode of psychotic, paranoid, and impulsive behavior that destroyed my life. As the situation became increasingly unstable, there were times I didn't want to be here. Having bipolar disorder is a notable state of constant mental illness. When you go into a manic episode, you are ill at that point. When you are not in an episode, you are completely normal, and that's when the wreckage from the illness hits the hardest. Hitting rock bottom a few months ago, my wife encouraged me to finally get help. I have found comfort in Reddit forums of all places. Different people speak on being in a manic or depressive episodes of similar natures. I read their stories and realized that I was not alone. It's not just me who ruins their entire life once a year, despite taking meds every day and being told by so-called best doctors in the world that I am not bipolar, but merely experiencing symptoms of autism. My words as a leader in my community have global impact and influence. In my mania, I lost complete sight of that. As I find my new baseline and new center through an effective regime of medication, therapy, exercise, and clean living, I have newfound much needed clarity. I am not pouring my energy into positive, meaningful. It says, I am pouring my energy into positive, meaningful art, music, clothing, design, and other new ideas to help the world. I'm not asking for sympathy or a free pass, though I aspire to earn your forgiveness. I write today simply to ask for your patience and understanding as I find my way home. With love, Yay. Yeah, your music, you did make music that definitely damaged the Black community, and that definitely in some ways hurt the people that you love. You've like kind of tarnished how your mother raised you. I'm pretty sure she raised you better than you came up. You're a grown man, so you know better, Kanye. Manic or not, you had years to understand the things that you did relating to that, and not mentioning how you thought slavery was a good thing for the Black community, or it wasn't an issue, or however you try to lightly baseline it. And you are correct. You have to correct the things that you done to the community. And sometimes that involves doing it out loud where people can see it too. Since you claim that you're getting the help, the therapy, and the medication, if you are on medication, there will be some times where you might feel that way. And I have been around people that are bipolar, and the episodes are quite scary because they can go from a normal person today and somebody you don't recognize tomorrow. I I I I don't know. You say that is what you have, and that's what you've been diagnosed with because of an injury that was left undiagnosed through neurological exams that were missed, and the choices that you made during the times when you weren't manic and having those episodes, you had time to correct it over the past 25 years, as you put it, or I could shorten it to 15 to 20 years. There were times in between when you weren't manic where you could have grabbed this bull by the horn, and you understood in a way that this was happening. And even though the doctors may have neglected you neglected yourself on top of entertaining and ruining and bashing a community, certain communities, especially the Black community. And I noticed how short your apology to the Black community was. All I really saw in that was, I love us and you want us to stick beside you. And I'm the kind of person where I like to see improvement before I go ahead and give my support or give anything that way. Because one thing I know about a person that has had issues of self-hating and drives that out into the community and damages that community because of their own self-hate is, you have to show and prove first before I can trust anything that you say or do, because you are on a crazy rampage, chaotic, and sometimes people do forget things when they are on bipolar. Sometimes they don't. So you said you've forgotten a lot of the things. Maybe that's why you didn't mention them. And sometimes we can be so embarrassed that we don't want to bring it up because we want to forget that that happened. Yeah, sometimes you can just block things out and it could just happen that way and it not be something that you want to be accountable for. But you have to be accountable for your actions. And I see that you put that in there about accountability. But I'm like a lot of other people where you did a lot to the Black community and it's kind of hard to come back off of. It would be like the equivalent of the things that Nicki Minaj is doing right now, and her using something to say that this is the reason why I acted the way I did is because of this thing, and we can't keep letting this thing or a thing keep you from being accountable for your actions and keep you from learning, because you have to learn and you have to face the fact that what you caused is what you caused, and you have to sit in your own and deal with it. It you asking us for patience, but you don't need our patience. Life goes on. We're not going to be standing here waiting on you to get better or worse. Our lives go on. Your life is your life to deal with, as far as the treatments and the therapies and everything that goes along with that. This is a thing that you have to conquer on your own and be able to get through and keep a promise to yourself. I'm not asking you to be accountable to me, because you are accountable for your own actions. You're a grown man, so you know better. So I would expect you to do what you know you need to do, and either you're gonna get better or you're gonna get worse. So all I can do is wish you the best and leave it there. Leave it at that. And with that being said, I have completed this video for you all. And I would like to thank you all so much for watching. This video has been fair use for commentary and educational purposes. For criticism, so I hope that you enjoyed it. Please give me a like and subscribe if you can. and come back and join me for another live. And I will be seeing you guys soon. And it was so great being able to do this live and complete it, guys. So thank you once again. And thank you to my new subscribers. And I will be seeing you guys soon. Maybe I can go live one day. Holler at me in the chat if you are a friend and you know me from TikTok. And let me know if you ever want to go live with me, some of my friends from TikTok, and we can do a story or something together. But in the meantime, I am Famika Capricorn, and this is Topics and Conversations, and I will see you later. Have a good night. Bye. I hope that I was able to read through that. His what I want to say. His dissertation letter, because I see